Hello guys, thank you so much for joining our live session. సో ఎవరైతే ఇప్పుడు జాయిన్ అయ్యి చూస్తున్నారో ఫర్ దెమ్ ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు టెల్ యూ దిస్ సెషన్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ EB-5 గ్రీన్ కార్డ్. వీ హ్యావ్ డన్ సో మెనీ sessions on this topic. So today also you are going to get lot of information, especially with lot of changes in the market day by day. So every information is very important. So watch this video till the end. We are going through so many questions. అండ్ ఎవరైతే నార్మల్గా జాయిన్ అయ్యారో ఫర్ దెమ్ ప్లీజ్ లిమిట్ యువర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ టు ఓన్లీ దిస్ టాపిక్. సో ఎవరైనా ఉంటే ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు నో అబౌట్ ఎనీ EB-5 యూ కెన్ పోస్ట్ యువర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇన్ కామెంట్స్. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఆన్సర్ దెమ్. ఓకే, నౌ వీ హ్యావ్ Nikin with us. So for you it is going to be first session with us, but we are going to do these sessions every week. Thank you so much, Nikin, for joining our session. So especially we want people like you who can share your knowledge and who can give real-time information.
Mhm.
These days we have so many news channels, and every day once we wake up we see that one news channel is saying this and another news channel is saying some other thing entirely.
Yeah.
So people don't know exactly what's going on. So if people like you who has lot of experience and knowledge about this topic, if you can share your knowledge, it will be very beneficial for the people. And we have office in Ameerpet, Hyderabad, which is very prime location. And every day we get walk-ins, people who come in and who will be asking about these things, especially lack of knowledge. It's people, they don't know green card means they know only going through H1B and
Mhm.
taking the green card in a normal way, like traditional way, how many people do that, but they don't know about EB-5. So thank you so much once again for joining. And for people who are not familiar with Nikin, I just want to tell your for awesome profile. So guys, Nikin is founder of Open Venture, a one-stop platform supporting high-skilled immigrants moving to United States across admissions, housing, employment, visas, and more. He's also an immigration consultant and a FINRA, FINRA registered representative. Nikin began his career early as youngest research assistant at India's Department of Defense at the age of 12. I was so surprised, impressed. And at 16, he moved to the US on a full scholarship. And by 23, he became one of the youngest recipients of EB-1A green card. So if you are watching this, you came to the right place to know about the right kind of information. So Nikin, first, before starting the session, we just want to know what exactly is going on in the market
Mhm.
regarding H1B as of today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. Super excited to join all of you and appreciate the kind words in the introduction. So, in terms of the work that we do, we have an immigration ecosystem, right? So, we have several businesses across admissions, housing, jobs, and of course, visas, the investor green card as well, which is my focus area. So we have a unique perspective because we don't see people at any one phase. It's like we see people across their 5 to 10 year journey of immigration. And in terms of what's happening right now, the most relevant news, the news that sent shockwaves, was related to the H1B. So the president announced a proclamation which said that the 100,000 fee is applicable for new H1Bs. But since then, a lot of clarification has come. And our understanding now is this only applies for H1s that are issued outside of the US. So if there is a company such as Infosys or another large consulting company, and they're looking to have someone move from the India office to the US office and they're applying for the H1 for the first time, this fee would impact them. So who this doesn't impact is also very important.
Yeah.
So this doesn't impact people already in the US on any kind of visa, and they are adjusting status or they're moving to an H1B. So this includes students, people on research visas like the J1 visa, students are on an F1 visa. And this also includes employees of MNCs because the H1B is not the only path a company like Infosys would use. They would also use the L1 visa. So the L1A is for managers, L1B is for professionals. So they have thousands of people on L1Bs. So that path still remains open. So a company gauges that, especially in MNC, gauges that you need to be on site to help with some
Right.
client work. They can still get you on an L1B, but the L1B has a time limit, right? It's only a few years.
Yeah.
So once you're in the US, you can apply for secure the H1B and extend your stay as you're allowed to. So in this path, the $100,000 fee doesn't apply.
So, but after this announcement, even the people who are on H1B in US, even though they don't get affected immediately, but they still have that panic situation because
Mm,
they are not sure that tomorrow is going to be safe. That decision might lead to another decision tomorrow.
that's correct.
So that's
I
the
mean,
reason we, yeah.
yeah, which is why our strongest recommendation for anyone on any kind of work visa is to find ways to get into permanent residency, which is also called a green card, right? If you're
Yeah.
on a work visa, explore different options that's right for you and your family to then get a green card. And there are multiple options available, and certain options are well within reach as well, right? But the first part is just that awareness. And now the administration, it's moving people
Yeah.
into action because otherwise people just let things, it's inertia. They just let things go as they are going. But now a lot more people are actively exploring. Okay, how do I move from a work visa into a green card?
So after this announcement has been made, we got so many leads from USA. Like,
Mm,
how can we move to EB-5 from H1B status? They have
mm,
so many questions. So I have compiled some questions from all our viewers and some of our people who approached us through emails and
mm.
phone calls and everyone. So we have some questions. And so I'm going to ask you one by one and please share your knowledge with us. First one is for the people who are new to this topic. What is EB-5 program in simple terms?
The simplest way to think about it is it's basically the US government encouraging investment into the country. So they're saying that if you invest a minimum of $800,000, so that's close to 7 crores,
Hmm.
in certain zip codes, so certain PIN codes identified by the government as needing economic growth, right? So not all places in the US are like New York City. I mean, there are a lot of rural
Oh,
places
okay.
in the US where there might be high unemployment or the industry is still developing. So if you're investing in projects in those areas and you're creating at least 10 American jobs in a 2 year period of time, you receive a green card. So just to summarize, the US government wants to see the applicant investing at least $800,000 in these specific zip codes, and the project creates 10 American jobs in a 2 year period of time. So these are kind of the high level conditions
Got it.
for
So these
EB-5.
zip codes will be picked by the government. They will
Yeah,
decide. And the
each
projects
project
are
is
also.
reviewed and approved. Each project is reviewed and approved by the government.
Okay. So it's not like we are going to choose the project. There'll be one list of projects, and we need to choose
Yeah,
from them. Okay. So, my second question is, who is the EB-5 program designed for? Who is eligible for this?
that's a great question. Actually, the answer to that is it's anyone who has at least $800,000.
Hmm.
And what's important is they're able to show that it's lawfully obtained, right?
Okay.
So, for example, in India, you have people with a lot of land, and the land could be worth 20, 50, 100 crores. But let's say the government registration value of that land is only 2 crores,
Hmm.
right? So the only documentation we can gather for USCIS purposes is 2 crores.
2
So
crores. Okay.
the key is do you have $800,000 to put it very simply in white money, right? So
In
can we
white.
show that the tax has been paid, it can be sourced, it's lawfully obtained? And even in cases, for example, you have those funds, you might have invested in crypto. Let's say you withdrew the funds and you
Exactly.
invested in crypto. That's something that USCIS finds a very hard time recognizing, right?
Okay.
So they like seeing stocks, they like seeing salary, even business income,
Hmm.
real estate sales. They love seeing loans. So loans are very common, but certain types of things they have a hard time understanding. For example, gold, right? Like commodity.
Hmm.
Okay, what funds did you use to purchase that? Same thing with crypto. What funds did you use to purchase that? So it's on a case by case basis, which is why we sit down with applicants. We have attorneys and entire legal team in order to evaluate and help them through this process.
So even if you have land also, you need to show like how you obtained that land, who gave you, or how you purchased.
Yeah,
All the links we need to submit.
yes.
Okay. So your source of funds should be very clear. Actually, when I was taking leads from US, some came with the crypto. Some people came with the, stocks and shares and, different. Everyone's case is different, yeah, as you said. And also because it is very, costly to get this green card, what are the exact benefits? Like, why should they go for EB-5 rather than other green card routes?
I mean, it's the only green card route where even the most conservative attorney, again, you have attorneys who are optimistic, you have attorneys who are conservative, very similar to doctors,
Yeah.
right? So even the most conservative attorney would be like, if we, here are 3, 5 conditions to fulfill, and if we fulfill these conditions, even before we apply, right,
Hmm.
you will for sure get a green card. So it doesn't matter what happens to the government, it doesn't matter
Okay.
what down the road the rules might
Okay.
change, what happens to the economy. I mean, none of that affects.
Nothing can
So you'll
affect. Yeah.
exactly. So if there is one green card path, which is you're able to secure a green card with certainty, it
Hmm.
would be EB-5. Because you can remove, the reason it's certain is because you can remove any of the conditions of denial upfront, right? But
Okay.
in other green card categories, that's not the case. So there are merit-based categories where still you're developing your profile and you're submitting it to USCIS for evaluation. So they're still evaluating you. Right? So there is still immigration
Mhm.
risk. So that's what makes it very powerful. So it removes immigration risk. It also is a very fast path. So if you're already in the US, you can get a work permit and travel permit in as little as 3 months
Hmm. Yeah.
after you apply. You can apply with partial funding. So you don't even have to save up the entire 800,000. You could even get started with 50,000. So
Oh,
very quickly, if you have a spouse who's not able to work, if she's on a dependent visa, you can unlock
yeah.
your spouse's like working potential as well. once you have this permits. And then depending upon the type of project you invest in, anywhere from 3 months to 1.5 years, typically, you get a conditional green card. And in 3 years, you get a green card. So this process, it's step by step, and it happens in a seamless manner, right?
Yeah,
So
and
that's the
also
main advantage of
it's
EB-5.
quicker than other green cards.
Exactly. Yeah.
Quick. And what would be the timeline for the people who will be applying from India?
If you're applying from India, it's a bit different. So you first have to wait for the conditional green card to be approved. So you don't have that work permit that's issued in 90 days. But even for people from India, we are talking the conditional green card approval is anywhere from 3 months to 1.5 years. Then after that, you have to get the green card processed at the consulate. So that would take about 12 to 18 months as well. So overall, from applying to landing in the US, we're talking about anywhere from 1.5 to 3 years. But when you land, your entire family lands with a green card, right?
Yeah,
So you
they can
can
work anywhere.
start businesses. Exactly. You can work anywhere. And that is much more powerful than anyone coming here on any other work visa.
For kids as well, it's very beneficial. They can join. They will have that freedom to choose the universities and all.
Actually, that's a very good point you raise. If you have kids, they benefit from getting in-state tuition.
Yes,
So that's another calculation you can make, right? Because US universities, especially bachelors, the university
you can
alone,
save a lot. Yeah.
yeah, costs like 2-3 crores,
Mhm.
and that fees is only increasing. And if you have two kids, that itself is
Yeah.
7 crores. And if you come here to the US and you're eligible for in-state tuition, which on a green card you are, that cost of 7 crores becomes about 50, 60 lakhs. So that itself, you have an ROI
Yeah.
if you're
So
thinking of EB-5
instead of sending two kids for undergrad to US, you can go with EB-5.
for the family. Yeah,
Yeah, for the entire family. And for it's going to be permanent. Again, kids they don't need to try for the green card for themselves.
exactly.
And next question is, what is the minimum investment amount? Yeah, we have already discussed, right? Do you have any points to add to this? What is the minimum investment amount required for EB-5 today, as of today?
I mean, there are certain loan programs available which allow you to get interest only loans
Okay.
anywhere from $50,000 to even $400,000. So anywhere from 40 lakhs to 3-4 crores. So that way it's still an amount you have to pay back because you're making interest payments
Hmm.
on this amount. But upfront, your investment reduces. So instead of 7 crores now, instead of $800,000, you're only investing $400,000, right? Only 3.5 crores. And the rest of the money you can take as an interest-only loans. And it helps financially, it gives you a bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
So those programs we have available, we can share with people, but there's still a qualification criteria. You need to have income, you need to have net worth. So you fill out an application and you get pre-approved for them.
Okay. So is it going to be a personal loan?
Yeah, it's a personal loan.
Okay. So depending on your profile, they might give you 100,000 or 2,000, 200,000, or entirely 400,000,
Exactly.
right?
I mean, the main question is, do you have enough funds to make the interest payments, right?
Mhm.
So even if everyone is confident about the project will repay you back in 3 to 5 years. In that timeline, without stretching yourself, can you make the interest payments? Because if your household income is only $100,000, your take home may be $70,000, right? So how will you make interest payments of $20,000, $30,000 a year if your take home is $70,000. Like the math doesn't add up. You still have to pay for
Okay.
rent and
It's the
other living.
basic, it's the basic logic they use for
Yeah,
loans in India as well. When you
yeah,
take loan for to buy some, some villa or some flat, same logic they apply depending on your
exactly.
salary and all. Okay. My next question is, what is the difference between a direct EB-5 investment and a regional center investment?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd say direct EB-5 investment is where you're investing in and owning and operating a business. And typically these don't qualify for 800,000. So you have to invest at least $1 million for a
Okay.
direct EB-5. And the jobs have to already be created. Like for example, you have FedEx centers, like shipping centers.
Yeah.
You have two, three centers. Then there you can show 10, 20 workers. You have a hotel, you have a healthcare center. There you can show 10, 20 workers. The difference with regional centers, which is what 99% of EB-5 is today, is you can show direct jobs as well as indirect jobs. So let's say construction activity is happening. So you have jobs on the site, but someone is preparing the cement like
Hmm.
200 kilometers away. Those jobs can be counted in also.
Okay.
So basically, fulfilling the criteria is easier with regional center projects. The projects too, they tend to be higher quality, the regional center projects. They're not like smaller solo operations that we see in direct EB-5. And it's very mature, right? Which is the regional centers have been around for 20, 30 years. They have a track record. The developers have a track record. You can
Hmm.
ask for references. So it helps you do your diligence
So
in
we
a
can
thorough manner.
choose, we can choose where to invest, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So many people who approach us, they asked like whether it's good to invest in rural areas or urban areas. Will there be any difference?
There is a difference. So rural has priority processing. So you
Okay.
get the conditional green card within 3 months. But the
Okay.
trade-off is the money is invested for longer, right?
Okay.
So typically it's plots of land. They're building single family homes or townhomes. So you have to wait for all the homes to be sold
Then
before
you will get your
you get,
investment back.
yeah.
So it
So
takes time.
that's, so first there's construction, then there's sales. So it's 5 to 7 years. But the urban projects are different, right? So let's say you're investing in a hotel in Manhattan. Even before the hotel is finishing construction, some bigger group like a
Hmm.
Marriott Hilton or hotel management group is going to come and buy it out. So the early developer builder, they took
Hmm.
on some risk by finding land, taking out a bank loan, putting their own money and building the hotel. And let's say the value of the hotel is 60 million. And these bigger groups, they just wait for the hotel to finish construction and then they would buy it at 100 million. So everyone wins. So the developer
Oh,
gets the money back, any other investor gets paid. And that's why even the EB-5 investors would put in the funds, right? So even they would be repaid. And all of this happens typically before that 5 years itself. So
okay.
3 years, 4 years. So the repayment in urban projects is much quicker
Much quicker.
than rural projects. So
Oh,
that's the main difference between rural and urban.
okay. So many people gets confused here. So that's very good
Yeah.
point.
And
And
you have to look at the details and make the decision that's right for you. I mean, if
exactly.
you're already in the US, you get that work permit immediately. So you can go and find a project where your capital is coming back sooner, right? So that would be one thought process.
Hmm.
If you're outside the country, then you want to come to the country quickly, right? That's the primary motivation. So you can find a rural project to invest in because even if you get the conditional green card, they still the consulate processing that has to
Mm.
happen. So all in all, by the time you come, you would be maybe a year or two away from getting the capital back. So that rural timeline and process works better for you. So it depends on your situation and what's best
You
for
made
you.
it very clear. You made it very clear because many people are confused about this, where to invest, because they will invest now, but once they invest, they'll be looking forward to when I'll be getting the funds back, whether I'll be getting
Yeah,
them back or not. So there is a lot of clarity in this. So it depends on, again, case by case, if you are coming from India or if you are applying from US.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So my next question is, what does job creation mean in the EB-5 context?
That's a great question too. I mean, to put it very simply, in terms of the jobs, here in the US, there's a distinction between any full-time job that you get. So a full-time job is called a W-2 job. And then there are part-time jobs or contractor jobs. And the contractor jobs are known as 1099 jobs.
Okay.
So the main difference is, especially when it comes to construction, real estate, you have a lot more contractor jobs that are available
Hmm.
than full-time jobs that are available. So for EB-5, the job creation requirement are the full-time jobs that we are talking about. And for the most part, this is something applicants don't have to even think about because even before you can invest in a project, even before an attorney will let you invest in a project, they'll make sure the job creation, the business plan, everything has already been approved by
Okay.
USCIS. So the projects, they prepare all the details, they submit to USCIS, and they get an approval. It's called the 9956F approval. And an attorney won't even consider the project, right?
Okay.
Won't even apply for your EB-5 before they see that approval letter. So with that approval letter, what USCIS is certifying is that this is a project on very good fundamentals and that we are very confident
Hmm.
that this project will be successful, right? I mean, it's still subject to risk as any real estate project or any project or business for that matter is. But with this approval notice, it takes care of the job creation question.
So before we apply, all the criteria is already met.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
some of the applicants, they are thinking that they need to create the jobs. They think that they have to create the jobs. I know because EB-5 is very famous green card, but still our Indians, they followed the normal green card method till now. Like go on H1B and wait for your green card for 10 years or 15 years. This is
Yeah.
something new they are focusing right now. Even though it was
Yeah.
there before, it was not as famous as nowadays. So that's the reason they
Exactly.
have so many questions. Even the small information matters. Many applicants ask me, like, do we need to create the jobs? So they don't need
Yeah.
to do anything. It's already been done. You need to
Yeah.
apply and the process will
The
start.
the entire process is designed to be passive, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the main advantage of EB-5 too. Is yes, you're making a decision on where to put your funds. It's a very important decision. But in terms of all other aspects, the job creation, I mean, monitoring it, making sure it's according to the USCIS
Hmm.
guidelines, that's like turnkey now, right? So people have been doing this for the regional centers attorneys have been doing this for 20, 30 years. So they have all of that already in place, right? So they know what reports need to be filed when. And the majority of the decision an applicant takes is on the front end. So doing that research, finding the right project to invest in. And once they do that, in terms of the project itself complying with the USCIS regulations. That is, think of it as it's an automated setup. So
Hmm.
step one, step two, step three, it happens automatically.
Yeah. So we need to apply and process will just go in a autopilot mode. And
Yeah.
one more question, people in any profession they can apply, right? Because there is one more myth that only software people or only IT people can apply. We have many teachers who are waiting to travel on J1 and H1B. They think that teachers cannot travel on direct green card. So I just want to get the answer from you so that people will have that knowledge.
I mean,
Any profession.
anyone can apply. So that's number one. The profession is not a limitation. Actually, people who are not even professionals can apply because a big
Exactly.
portion of EB-5 recipients are students, right? So if you're 21, 22, or even 28, like you're studying a master's program, you're in medical school, you're doing your MD degree here, you don't have any income and you haven't even worked
Hmm.
for any meaningful number of years. So in those cases, the applicant, I mean, you are the applicant, but the funds are coming from your family and family friends, right? And other sources as well. So that's perfectly acceptable for UCIS.
Yeah, many people they don't have that idea, especially people from India. So they just want to know about this. And one more question is, what are the rules around the source of funds for AB5?
This is a very important topic. The best way to think about this is how do you prove like any amount of money is lawfully obtained? And let me share with you an example, right? So let's say you work for Microsoft and you have $100,000 in savings from Microsoft. How would you prove that? So the way an attorney proves it is they'll ask for 7 years of your bank statements, tax records, pay stubs, other information, and they go line by line, which is they go statement by statement. And they're like, okay, for this $10,000, we see there's a deposit coming in. We
Hmm.
see the tax has been paid for. We see that its source of funds clear, right? So it's a very tedious process. An entire legal team goes to work on it. And they basically take a highlighter and
Hmm.
they print out the statements and they sit and do this. So that's the process. So in this case, we are talking about the example itself, where the applicant is working for Microsoft and they are earning a salary. So the salary is what we have to show, or earned income is what we have to show as a source of funds. Now, this is just the first layer, right? Which is USCIS is stopping at Microsoft. They're not going and asking, where is Microsoft getting its funds from?
Okay.
There are cases where they go to that second layer as well. And those cases are if you have gifts from friends and family. So
Okay.
let's say a gift is coming, or gift from any person for that matter. They don't even have to be related to you. So let's say you're getting $100,000 as a gift. Yes, you're receiving it, but now they're going to ask where the applicant got the funds from, right? So they have to show the source of funds.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens with loans as well. So let's say if you're getting a loan from a company, I mean, a loan from an institution that's not a bank, right?
Okay.
So there are a lot of private institutions that give loans. So in those cases, also, they go two layers. So they're
Okay.
like, okay, we see the documentation for the loan, but where is the lender getting their funds from? So please give us documentation for that.
Okay. So can
Yeah.
they get land as gift? from aunt, uncle, or parents, or in-laws, land
I
or
mean, ultimately, the funds have to be wired in US dollars to the project, right?
Hmm.
So, whatever steps happen before that is secondary to this final step. And what I mean by that is, yes, you can get the land as a gift, but you have to take a loan against that land, or you have to sell that land
Sell the land,
to
yeah.
get some more, to get the cash, and then transfer the cash to the project. But yes, to answer your question, in most cases, unless it's ancestral land,
Hmm.
so it's been there with the applicant, with the family for a long time. If it's recently purchased in the past 10, 15 years, then you do have to show how the land was purchased.
Okay. So they
So
go to
yes,
the
here
second
too,
degree.
they go to the second degree.
Okay. So as you said earlier, like they can start the process with 50K or 100K dollars.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like if I'm the applicant, if I start my process with $100,000, what would be the process like? Will my start
So
process
the,
will be started, or my process will be started only once I pay total 800K?
so you will file the application, but it's a partial application, right?
Okay.
So the way it would work is you would work with the attorney. It typically takes around 2 months. You would prepare all the documents, and when you submit your application, you will share a plan with USCIS. You'll be
Okay.
like, hey, Mr. USCIS officer, I'm making this good faith down payment of $50,000 of $100,000, and here is my funding plan. So here is how I plan to fund the rest of my investment. And USCIS is like, okay, we are confirming the receipt. We'll give you this work permit, travel permit, thousand is it. So they'll be issued in about 90 days
Okay.
time, even with a partial application.
Okay. So it can be started. But yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
it
going
can
to
be
be
started.
partial
Yes.
application. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have covered how long does it take to get conditional green card. Okay. Now the important part is if I am the applicant, if I come to you for applying,
Mm.
can you explain like how would you take the process forward? How would you take my application forward? What are the next steps?
That's a great question. I mean, the process is very simple, which is we have to select the right project to invest in based on your preferences. And then we have to,
Sorry to interrupt. You would be helping the applicant, right? To select the project.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just coming to that. But overall, that's the process. We select the right project to invest in. And in parallel, we work with the attorneys. We get your funds cleared. And once we are ready, we would invest in the project and file your application. So this is very simply the EB-5 process, like the work that needs to be done. Now, where do we come in? What do we help applicants
Yes.
with? It's the entire journey, right? So it's starting with understanding EB-5, the timelines, the process itself, and also things to watch out for. So which funding is acceptable, which funding is not
Mm.
acceptable. Should you already be in the US and apply? Should you apply outside the US? I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different situations to navigate, right? So we handhold applicants through that. The majority of our time is spent in helping applicants understand, evaluate, and pick the right project. to invest in. And we never go with just one. So our approach is let's have a short list. So let's have 3, 4 projects in that short list. And let's sign like a letter of intent with each of them. So they hold the spot open for you, right? And again, they could be closing quickly. They could be waiting for their last few investors. But once we have that initial paperwork done, it's called the subscription agreement done. It preserves your spot. So that way you have 3, 4 options open to you, and you're not like rushing into one, right? So that's our approach is let's keep your options open till you're ready to fund.
Okay.
Then we, in parallel, work with the attorney, prepare all of the funding documents, have that ready, have your biometrics done, your medical evaluation done. And when you're ready to fund, when the attorney is like, okay, all of your funds are cleared, now based on your comfort level, based on what you prioritize the most, do you want your funds back quickly? Do you want the green card quickly? Do you want a return on your funds? Because typically the return is 1% a year. But if you want some higher returns, 3, 4%, maybe even higher, there are certain projects for you.
Okay.
So whatever matters to you most, then you basically take a leap of faith. I mean, I wouldn't call it any other way, is you can do your very best to remove the risk from the investment. But at the end of the day, there's still a risk, right? So
Yeah, right.
you do have to take that leap of faith. But following this methodical approach, and especially our team, I mean, my background is more on the immigration side, but the broker dealer that we work with, the FINRA, SEC broker dealer that we work with, there are over 700 bankers, right? So these are people from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Chase, people with decades and decades of experience. And this is something we collaborate together, which is identifying projects that are the very best that we know for sure the applicants would get their capital back in a timely manner. So when applicants go to our platform, they benefit from our due diligence experience as well. And that's also something we are obligated to do, which is FINRA, the SEC, their rules mandate us to always work in the best interest of the applicant. So every step of the way, we are sharing disclosures, we are sharing risks. We are like, I mean, things that applicants wouldn't even think about, right? Which is this area is prone to flooding. So it's just 2, 3 kilometers from a river.
I think we have some network issues. Guys, can anyone comment whether you can hear us? Hello? 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 Oh, connection issue. Okay, ma'am, let's wait for some time. Okay, sure. సో గైస్ మీరు నీకేం చెప్పిందంతా విన్నారు కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటి అంటే మనం EB-5లో ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేయాలి అంటే మన దగ్గర కరెక్ట్ పాత్ అనేది ఉందన్నమాట. సో మీరు యుఎస్లో ఉన్నా కానీ, ఇండియాలో ఉన్నా కానీ, మీరు యుఎస్లో ఏ స్టేటస్ మీద ఉన్నా కానీ, జస్ట్ అప్రోచెస్. నేను ఈ లైవ్ అయిపోగానే కామెంట్స్‌లో ఫోన్ నంబర్ పెడతాను. టు కాలర్స్. మేము మీకు రైట్ పాత్ చూపిస్తాము. సో, మీకు నేను చాలా సార్లు ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేశాను. కానీ రైట్ పర్సన్ వచ్చి ఎక్స్‌ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తే ఇంకా బావుంటుంది అనేసి నిఖిల్‌ని ఇన్వైట్ చేశామనమాట. సో, వి ఆల్ వర్క్ టుగెదర్. మీరు మైగ్రా స్టడీని అప్రోచ్ అయినట్లయితే మనము అటార్నీతో సెషన్ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ అటార్నీ విల్ సీ ఆల్ యువర్ సోర్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫండ్స్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ అన్నీ చూసి మిమ్మల్ని రైట్ పాత్‌లో ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్తారు. అండ్ ఆల్సో మీరు రాగానే, మీరు రాగానే వి విల్ సీ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. మీకు కరెక్ట్ అడ్వైస్ ఇచ్చిన తర్వాతే ముందుకు వెళ్ళొచ్చనమాట. స్టార్టింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ మీరు ఎలాంటి ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఎంచుకోవాలి అన్న దగ్గర నుంచి లాస్ట్‌లో ఫండ్స్ మీకు బ్యాక్ వచ్చే వరకి గూడా వి విల్ బి విత్ యూ. సో, ఎండ్ టు ఎండ్ సపోర్ట్ అనేది ఉంటుందనమాట. సో, అందుకే నేను నిఖిల్ గారిని ఇన్వైట్ చేశాను ఈ లైవ్‌కి. సో దట్ మీకు రైట్ పర్సన్‌తో మాట్లాడితే కరెక్ట్ ఇన్ఫో వస్తుంది అనేసి. సో, Nikin has some network issues. Let's wait for one more minute. And also, we have office in Ameerpet, 302 Meridian Plaza, Ameerpet, Hyderabad. You can walk into our office or you can call our number. I'll give you the number once I end this live. టాప్ కామెంట్లో నేను నంబర్ పెడతాను. డూ అప్రోచెస్. వెదర్ యు ఆర్ ఇన్ యూఎస్ఏ ఆర్ వెదర్ యు ఆర్ ఇన్ ఇండియా, ఎనీవేర్. సో యూ కెన్ అప్లై ఫర్ దిస్ గ్రీన్ కార్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఎనీవేర్ ఇన్ ద వరల్డ్. సో ఫస్ట్ అయితే అప్రోచ్ అవ్వండి. సి, మీరు కౌన్సిలింగ్ అయితే ఎనీవే ఇట్స్ ఫ్రీ. సో అప్రోచ్ అయ్యి అడ్వైస్ తీసుకోండి అండ్ దెన్ ఓన్లీ యూ కెన్ ప్రొసీడ్. సో లెట్స్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్. హాయ్ నిఖిల్.
Hello again.
Hello. So, yeah, no issues. So, I was just telling our viewers that, if they, again, we lost him, I think. Yeah. I was just
Yeah,
telling
please go ahead. Yeah.
viewers that if they want to apply for EB-5, can approach us and we'll support them from beginning to the and return of funds. End-to-end support will be there. Whether you are in US or India, do call us. So yeah, Nikin, we have few more questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about risks, if they have any risks.
In terms of EB-5, there are only two risks. One is the immigration risk, right? And the other is the investment risk. On the immigration side, like I shared earlier, you can find projects that have already created the jobs, right? And of course, the attorney would work with you to vet your funds. So you can remove that risk entirely. And this is before you even apply. So you're not applying and thinking, okay, whether USCIS will accept my application or not. So there is a process to follow that to be secure on the immigration side. And on the investment side, that's where the main work is, right? Is looking at the developers, and that's the work that we do as well, which is looking at the developers' track record. How have they treated investors in good times, in times like COVID? Have they repaid investors in full? Have investors got their green cards done? And now coming to the project itself, is the project just now construction is getting started, or is it in the later stages? Right, it's close to completion. That's something that we look at because that affects the repayment timeline too. So it's an earlier project, the repayment would take longer than a later project. The other is what is the priority for the EB-5 investors? So ideally, you want to be, logically again, you want to be the last investor in and the first investor out. So that is what gives you like preference and security. So we can look at the capital stack. So the capital stack is where you are in the order of preference for being repaid, right? So that's another factor into consideration. And then finally, all things being equal, so let's say there are 3, 4 projects and they have this in place. Now you can look for additional investor protections. So in certain cases, the developer personally gives a repayment guarantee. So they say that if the business doesn't generate enough revenue in 5 years, I will repay you back, right? So let's give the business some time, but for whatever reason, again, it could be COVID, recession, for any reason whatsoever, I will personally repay you. Other times, it's from the owner of the developer. So not the development firm, but the owner might be a very wealthy individual, right? And they're giving you a personal guarantee,
Insurance,
saying that these are written executed guarantees, right? So it's not a verbal commitment. It's not to be taken lightly. But two more things. Another third way is it's from a bank. So there's a line of credit from a bank. So the bank also knows that, okay, in the 5th year mark, these funds can be used to repay some EB-5 investors. And in the strongest projects, we see the government, like the state governments in the US, giving a guarantee to. Like, for example, with senior housing. So if a developer has taken the risk, develop some senior housing, and they have a very good occupancy rate, the state government is like, okay, you've done all of this, you've helped the local community, and we will take on the debt, right? So we will refinance your entire debt, and that way the EB-5 investors get the funds back.
Okay. So anyway, you will guide them with choosing the project and everything.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. We have only a couple of questions left. What measures exist to help protect EB-5 investors?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the measures are from the US government. Right? So the US government itself in 2022, they dramatically updated the EB-5 system. And what happened in 2022 is even before the projects were approved, they were stringently evaluated, their business plans, their funding. So let's say you want a project to take on EB-5. Today, it's not enough for you to say that we have like a term sheet from a bank, right? So like a letter from the bank, that's not enough. They actually want to see money in the bank. So they want to see that the funding is secured. And the best projects, they only take EB-5 for 20, 30%, right? So if 80% of the money is in, then even the EB-5 investors can be confident that even without the EB-5 funds, this project will be completed because that gap can be plugged by even going back to the bank and getting more funds. So that is one measure of protection that USCIS itself looks at, evaluates, approves projects. The other protections are what I shared, right? Is looking at the track record history of the developers and what other agreements are in place. Is there repayment, refinance guarantees in place? And finally, working through us, working through like FINRA SEC registered broker dealers, it's important to understand that at the end of the day, any EB-5 project, they are issuing a security. Like a security is like a stock, a bond, all of those are securities too. An EB-5 investment is also a security. And if you're working directly with a project, I mean, any salesperson, there's some measure of exaggeration, promises, expectations that they set, right? However, in the US, all of us, like the issuers, the broker dealers, all of us are governed by one body, known as FINRA, and the enforcement arm of that is known as the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC. And the SEC is incredibly strict. So if there's a commitment to an investor, I mean, an investor feels like that commitment wasn't honored, there's very little they can do about it, right? Okay. However, if it's done through our platform, if it's done through a broker dealer, we are actually not just able to take them to court, the issuer personally can face like jail time. And this is even for making like a wrong statement, right? I mean, leave alone for falsifying anything in any of the documents. So that's how strict the rules, the guidelines are. So we give that protection, that cone of protection to the applicants as well. So going through the proper channel reduces the risk. Exactly. To simplify that. Okay. Have there been any recent changes to the EB-5 program? The the recent change is coming, right? And what I mean by that is the deadline for EB-5 is September 30th of 2026. Because after that, we cannot even submit an application. That's the last date to submit an EB-5 application under the current rules. And also, there's a high volume of Indian applicants now. So the dates, I mean, right now there's no waiting time for EB-5. Yeah. But by the middle of the next year, that might no longer be the case. So there could be a waiting time for EB-5. So if you're considering EB-5, it's important to act on it immediately. Act fast, yeah. So have experts take time to do diligence. And if you're now made up your mind, okay, I want to do EB-5, then there's not a minute, a day to waste. Like we have to take action right away. At least approach us so that you can see if there is any possibility for your profile. And if you're watching this video and if you know any friend who is looking for this info, please forward this video to them, because knowledge is everything. And nowadays, sharing knowledge is very, very important, because people come to us with so many questions, like very silly, very small questions as well, because many people, they are not aware of this process. And next question, as a FINRA registered representative, how do you help clients understand EB-5 investments? I mean, personally, my thought process is I don't make a distinction between the applicant's petition and my petition, right? So I treat it as if it were my own petition. And what does that mean, right? So hand holding them, there's no such thing as a silly question. And more importantly, for each project, helping them do reference checks, background checks, because there will be financial statements, getting them audited. And on the applicant's side too, if they need funds transfer between India and US, connecting them with dual license CACPAs, connecting them with the right legal team. I mean, making myself available to go to site visits, meet them in person. So it's like a white glove, high touch support that we provide. But more than anything, it's making people aware of the risks that we are discussing earlier and having them gain confidence and conviction in making the decision that's right for themselves and their families. So yeah, one more thing I just want to tell, end-to-end support, please don't forget this, because as I said, many applicants are concerned about what would happen once they get conditional green card. Yeah. Like, will you leave us? What happens to our return of investment? So we will be there with you from the beginning till the end. From Exactly. your first counseling session till you get your investment back, we'll be there with you. So please share this video with your friends and family. And also, before approaching us, obviously they'll go through all the
info in Google about EB-5, right? So we want to know what should someone do if they want to learn more about EB-5 in
We
a
have
proper
prepared a
channel.
detailed FAQ, so you can email us. I mean, my email is nikin@openinvest.com, and we'll also share a link to that FAQ in the description of this
Yes, yes.
webinar. So you can go and download that FAQ. It's about 10 pages long, and it has all of the questions that you're able to have for EB-5.
So after this live, I'll add everything in description in top comment as well. Please do check.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you have answered my next question as well. Where can viewers find reliable information about EB-5 program?
Yeah.
So yeah, so guys, I think you have learned so much in this session, and Nikin, thank you so much for joining. And we'll be having these sessions every week. We'll come up with different topic next time, and we have learned a lot. And guys, మీకు ఏ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నా కానీ ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇన్ ద కామెంట్స్. ఈవెన్ ఆఫ్టర్ దిస్ లైవ్ విల్ బి రిప్లైయింగ్. అండ్ ఆల్సో టాప్ కామెంట్ లో యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ అవర్ ఫోన్ నంబర్స్, Nikin's email ID, and everything, or all useful information, and also our office address as well. You can call us, you can mail us, you can directly come to our office and meet us. First counseling will be anyway, it's free. So first approach us, then we can decide how to go forward. All your questions will be answered. So thank you so much, Nikin, once again. We'll see
Really
you next week.
appreciate you having me, and super excited to connect with all of
It's
you
my
today.
privilege. Yeah.
And any questions you have, please feel free to reach out. So we are here to support you through the process.
Thank you, Nikin. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Ending
everyone.
this live now. Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.